Today on How It's Made, subsonic 9mm ammo for USPSA, Hunter's Dillon RL1100, and shooting flat.
211.
Hey guys, Hunter Constantine, and today we're gonna go through my reloading press. On the bench right next to me is the Dillon Precision RL1100, their newest multi-stage press, and what I load all of my 9mm on. I'm gonna take you through exactly how this machine works and how I craft my match grade ammo right here in my living room. So let's talk about some of the components that we need. So basically your ammunition is gonna come down to 4 main components: the casing, the projectile, the primer, and the powder, and that's what we have right here on this table. So for the next 1,000 rounds, we're gonna be using this CCI small pistol primers. I like these, are nickel plated, gives you a little bit of two-tone look. We're gonna be using 147 grain flat nose 9mm projectiles. We've got Clean Shot. I love this powder. It's similar to Tight Group. And then we've got some processed brass. This is processed, same head stamp 9mm from Brass Monkeys here in Arizona. What I like about using the same head stamp is that you're going to get a more consistent load all the way through. Now this might not be as reasonable for some of you, but having a local brass provider helps with the consistency throughout my ammo. So just a quick overview of what the press looks like and what everything is. This is our case feeder, it holds all of our brass. This is our bullet feeder, it holds all of our bullets. This is our primer tube. This holds all of our primers, and this is a powder hopper in the back. That noise is when the primers are out. It will beep at you to refill them. Otherwise you will make a mess. I've done it, it happens. We have my bullet hopper. So up top here, we've got bullets in it. I'm gonna go ahead and put a handful in there. What this does is it feeds bullets down this coil into this tube, and that's gonna be on my 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth station on the press is gonna be my bullet feed. This big blue one right here is where we take our brass, so I can go ahead and take this entire bucket right here. We're gonna dump it right up top. Just like that. Typically in the top, I like to keep anywhere about 150 to 200 rounds of brass, then about 100 projectiles. This is our primer tube right here, and this is the RF100. This is an automatic primer filler that vibrates, and I'll show you how that works once we get through these primers. Anyways, this is a multi-stage press, so this shell plate on the bottom rotates. So let's talk about each one of these stations. We're gonna zoom in a little bit, and now you're only gonna hear my voice. Okay, so now we are hands-on with the press, and I'm gonna walk you through each one of these stations. This first one right here, this is going to be our brass. So let's get some brass moving in here. It's gonna be loud for just a second. This is the case feeder filling up this brass tube right here. All right, we're gonna turn that off just because it's a little bit loud. And now we're gonna run through these stations. So by pulling this lever down, you can see this foot came back. I'm just gonna put a piece of brass into the station. Boom. So there we go. This grabbed a piece of brass, put it into the station 1. This is a resize and decapper. So this is going to take our shot brass, resize it to the cylinder it needs to be, and also there's a swage pin on the bottom to knock out the old primer. This next one is a primer swage. So there's a little bar on the bottom here that's gonna make sure that primer pocket is set properly. Following that, we're gonna have our primer tray feed the primer into the brass on this first piece of brass. Okay, so we're gonna go down. That just put a primer into it. The next station, which is going to be this one back here, is going to be the powder fill. This one is going to bell the case and also add powder to this casing. So now we've resized it. We've removed the primer, we've swaged the primer, we've added the new primer, we've belled the case, we've added the powder. Next is going to be the bullet drop. So we're gonna add a bullet to this round. Just like that, we just heard the bullet feeder go, and we got an upside down bullet, which I don't know if you guys can see yet. But I'm just gonna go ahead and flip that up, right side up. Now we have our seating die, which is going to help us set the overall length of the round. And the final stage is going to be crimping the round, which secures the bullet is in there correctly. So this is what we just made right here. A finished minimum power factor bullet specifically for USPSA. or suppressors or hog hunting or whatever else you would like to do with it. So let's get some close-ups of this, and we are going to cut to a music montage of some loading. So our primer tube is buzzing. That tells us we need more primer. So we're gonna go to this RF100 that is pre-filled with 100 primers right here. We're gonna go ahead and fill this up. Boom, just like that. 100 primers ready to go, and I'll show you how we're gonna refill this. The RF100 is a purchase that I wish I made sooner. This makes your life a whole lot easier when loading primers. I simply just dump the primers in there, and then I hit this button, and it's gonna start vibrating. So our powder hopper is pretty low right now, so we're gonna go ahead and fill it. Take the cap off, open up my powder, and we're just gonna top that right off. Generally speaking, a powder hopper will last you about 1,000 rounds, give or take, depending on what your load is. Just like that, we have some fresh powder pumping, and we are ready to keep on loading. All right, so you guys might be curious why to reload, right? The biggest thing is your cost savings and the quality of the ammo that you're going to have. Right now, let's talk about how much each of these components cost, okay? So again, we've got the bullet. This is the blue bullet flat nose 147 grain, and I paid about 6.9 cents per round for that. Powder equates to about 1 cent per round. Brass, if you're purchasing it, is going to be about 4 cents, give or take, but hopefully it's free. It's free from range pickups for matches or practices and things like that. Typically, if you go shoot a match, everybody's not picking up their brass. Sometimes local PDs or local indoor range will also help you out with brass. So we're gonna say it's free just for the cost savings purpose of this. And then we have the primer. You can typically find those for about 6 to about 10 cents a round right now. I paid 7 cents. So we have 7 cents for the primer, 7 cents for the projectile, 1 cent for the powder, and potentially 4 cents for the brass. But if we're looking at projectile, powder, and primer, we're at 15 cents per round, which comes out to be about $150 per 1,000 rounds of 9mm. During COVID, I was still reloading for $150 per 1,000, give or take, when prices of 9 were going crazy, up at like $300, $400 per 1,000. So I stayed on my same shooting schedule, even amidst what's going on around the country and the world. And it just offers you a degree of safety, knowing that you're going to have ammunition to train or protect yourself or your loved ones or your country. Being that this is the Dillon Precision RL1100, this loads right around anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 rounds an hour, depending on how finely tuned your machine is. With the case feeder, the bullet feeder, the RF100 primer filler, this can load ammo fast. I think my record on this is just over 1,300 rounds an hour, but generally speaking, I'm around 900 to 1,000. That's kind of like my lazy loading. As you can see, I got a little phone mount right here. Everybody should have a reloading press. You can do tons of calibers on it. 9 is what I shoot the most, so that's what I'm loading here. You can also load 223, 300 blackout. All of them have price savings across the board. I chose this machine because it is one of the fastest machines and I can have the highest amount of output before moving into a fully automated system. This specific machine probably has close to 120,000 rounds on it. There's been some minimal springs that I've replaced on it. Sorry, I got my cat going crazy over here. She's giving me some looks. Maybe we'll bring her on camera. But minimal maintenance on this machine, over 100,000 rounds on it, and just keeps on trucking. Having ammo accessible at your home is another level of being prepared. This way I can continue to practice my skills, continue to get better, and continue to improve at a fraction of the cost with better ammunition. I'm loading match grade ammo for a fraction of the cost of what I would have to buy it for. Check it out, guys. Check out a press for yourself. Dillon Precision has some of the finest reloading equipment. They have a press to meet your needs, whatever they may be. If it's a smaller press, if it's a multi-stage progression press like this, they have it. They even have automated systems to clip onto them. So check it out. I hope you learned something about reloading. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, tune in next time for the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Boom, that's the outro. And I spilled some water on my shirt because I'm a thirsty boy.